Asks, how safe is your drinking water, and what about the water at your kid's school? Well, the state continues to find increased levels of PFAS in household wells, schools, and city water supplies. 7 Action News reporter Matthew Smith joins us live this morning from Ann Arbor. And Matt, you're finding that everyone is treating this news differently. Why is that?
Science is just changing so quickly. We've seen this time and time again. As they learn how to do more, they change the standards of what we expect in our water. But the government has actually questioned themselves whether the EPA level is too high. In a recent report that came out in our state, there is talk of lowering the standards, which could put a lot of places in jeopardy with the current levels of PFAS they have right now.
When kids started to go to school at Glengarry Elementary School in Walled Lake this year, these children's parents got a letter. The district said they would err on the side of caution after finding PFAS in the school's well water. Drinking stations like you hear about in schools with lead were brought in. More testing shows PFAS, but not in high quantities. No further action needed to be taken beyond testing. The district telling me, quote, 20 parts per trillion is equivalent to about a grain of sand in a high school swimming pool. Nobody wants contaminated water, but these are some pretty minuscule levels of contamination. Further south in Ann Arbor, there's a different approach. I got an exclusive look at new water filters going into a treatment plant. Nearly $1 million of taxpayer dollars going into buying carbon like you see in this tube.
It can strain things like physically remove particles, but the benefit of carbon is it also has an absorption capacity, and that's where PFAS comes in.
They, like the school, are below the standards the EPA has set, but the city wants to go even lower.
I think that they made the right decision. I think that the community is very supportive of, council protecting public health, because that's what really this is all about.
And that's important because PFAS is still a hot button issue. There's do not eat advisories in some parts of our area, including the Huron River. The same for deer in certain parts of Oscoda up north. All of this as the CDC wrote a report this year saying the current level of risks set by the EPA, a level Michigan is following, may be as much as 6 times too high compared to levels that cause harm. In other words, levels lower than what we've seen in our area. Later this month, the state will look at going down to 5 parts per trillion in your water. That would be the new standard. It put a lot of schools at risk in our area. That glass you were just taking a look at, I tried to put 5 pieces of sand in there, ended up with 12. It'd be similar to this, except for the glass would have to be the size of 20 Olympic pools, and those little grains of sand would stay the same. That's how much science has advanced, but it also means that we're able to look for things that could be harmful. We'll have to continue to follow the discussion at the state legislature to find out whether we change things and whether that forces schools and cities to enact new legislation or react differently. We're live in Ann Arbor this morning. Matthew Smith, 7 Action News.
People want to know if their water is safe to drink. Thank you, Matthew.